as part of our foreign policy. And this is something, again, that I spoke to our other partners with. What we really should pursue is that we should make sure that we in the region are the ones who will decide the future of the region. Hindi tayo wag natin pabayaan na dinidiktahan tayo ng kahit sino.
Mautol malinaw 'yan. Kasi yung bilateral meeting nila ni President Xi Jinping ng China. 'Di ba? May parang meron tayong sigalot somewhere in Spratly sa West Philippine Sea na parang inaagawan tayo ng di umano ng teritoryo ng China. So alam naman nating lahat 'yan. Pero yun, nag-usap na nga sila. Pero yung detalye ng pag-uusap nila na yun ng President ng China na si Xi Jinping ay hindi pa po inilalabas. Kahit sa hinanap ko yun ng hinanap, wala talaga kung anong detalye. So sooner pa natin malalaman. Pero ayon kay President Bongbong Marcos, malinaw na hindi tayo pwedeng diktahan ng sino man kahit may pagkaibigan. Sinong may-ari ng region, siya yung magdidesisyon. Tapos, ganun lang kasimple, di ba? Pero magandang balita ito. Tsaka magandang balita rin na nag-usap na ang ating presidente at ang presidente ng China. Siyempre, mga karunungan, kaalaman, teorya, kasaysayan, hiwaga at mga bagong tuklas. Alamin natin. Friend to all, enemy to none. Yan ang pahayag ng ating Pangulong si Bongbong Marcos sa kanyang press conference na ginanap sa Bangkok, Thailand, kung saan siya'y dumalo ng APEC Summit nito lamang nakaraan, mga utol. Okay? At ayon pa sa kanya, kahit na maayos na relasyon ay hindi niya hayaang diktahan tayo ng ibang bansa. So alam natin yung naging relasyon sa Russia. So nagawan ko na rin yan ng reaction video na pwede siya may pagkaibigan. Pero hindi niya ito tolerate yung mga gera o kaya kung ano pa mang sigalot sa iba pang bansa. So, yun mga utol. So, alamin na natin itong mga pahayag ni President Bongbong Marcos. Ayan PBBM nilinaw ang kanyang economic and foreign policy. Hindi tayo pwedeng diktahan. Okay, ito yung mula sa Filipino Future. Filipino Future. Subscribe niyo mga utol. Like niyo na rin yung video. Tapos don't forget to follow at saka subscribe. Paki-like yung video, game na.
Participants such as France and Saudi Arabia were of the same mind and understand very clearly where the reasons behind the region's view and perspective on the new economy, the political situation, geopolitical situation, and all that. So it was very, very useful to have come. Unang-una, I have met already the majority of the leaders around the region. We have also had a substantive discussion sa mga bilateral. Kaya mabuti naman at maliwanag, naipaliwanag nila sa Pilipinas kung ano yung mga kanilang pinaplano, naipaliwanag naman ng Pilipinas sa lahat na kung ano yung ating mga iniisip, kung ano natin yung mga inaalala, ano yung ating gustong unahin at kung anong maitutulong namin sa kanila at maitutulong nila sa atin. So that's more or less how the APEC summit went.
So we have a few questions.
Okay.
First question from Mr. Nestor Corrales from Pilipinas.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon.
You will be meeting with U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris this week. What's your reaction that the U.S. Vice President will visit Palawan, the province nearest to the South China Sea? Are you concerned that his visit there would further fuel the tensions between the Philippines and China?
No. I don't see why they should. She is in the Philippines and she's visiting another part of the Philippines. And of course, it is the closest, our closest area to the South China Sea. But it's very clearly on Philippine territory, so I don't think I don't think it will cause problems.
Tama.
Just a quick follow-up, Mr. President. What issues will you raise during your meeting with the U.S. Vice President?
Well, it's not necessarily issues to be raised, but really I have always said that the relationship between the United States and the Philippines must continue to evolve, and it will be that. I will say, what things have changed. What will the United States do in response, and what do they expect from their partners in the region? I think when it comes to the security and defense in Asia Pacific, it really has to be a joint response. I don't think a single country should. I don't think any single country should go it alone. I think we will do much better if we respond as a group. And
Diba? Mabuti nga yun, mga utol, para rin syempre ma-intimidate kung sino man yung nagbabalak na gumawa ng gulo. Anyway, 'di ba? Alam naman natin na merong napipintong mga gera, no, na parang pakiramdam ko pero pwede pa naman masolusyonan, yung kagaya yung ginagawa ngayon ng North Korea, no, parang nandadarag sila, and anin mo pa isama mo pa yung Ukraine and Russia, pero palagay ko darating at darating na maari itong masolusyonan sa mapayapang solusyon. Anyway, balik na natin. Tuloy na natin to.
I think we will do much better if we respond as a group.
Tama.
And I think the other countries agree.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Ms. Sharla Francisco from TV5.
TV5.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
afternoon.
The 2022 Joint Declaration was just released a few minutes ago. It made mention of the impact of Russia's war in Ukraine. Particularly, it said most economies are condemning the war and that they demand the full withdrawal of Russia and Ukraine. I just like to ask, what was your position there? What issues did you raise?
The Philippines' position has been made very clear in the UN votes.
Tama.
And wherein we talked about self-determination and peace. We continue to believe that, and for the Philippines, I kept reminding everyone that our national policy, our foreign policy is based on the national interest and peace, and that's our guide. And I think that people understand this very well. Yet the enemy to none, friend to all policy still applies.
Yun.
And so we are still trying we are maintaining that. However, peace is war rather is unacceptable, and we ask all parties involved. There were several speeches that I made. All of them included urging that peace be brought back to Ukraine, and that the confrontation be brought to the diplomatic space. Wala nang gulo, at because the effect is not solely upon Ukraine or Russia. I think it's very clear. It was made even clearer here in APEC how the effects have been so far-reaching and profound, and to the detriment of many economies and the food supply of everyone in the world. So, yun ang talaga, we have to stop the fighting, and we have to move on to diplomacy so that we, at least these other aspects of the Ukrainian and Russian economy can be productive again.
Yan yung ano niya rin, no? Yan yun rin yung eksaktong sagot niya nung tanungin siya ni Senator Tatad. Yung video na yun ay ilalagay ko sa link natin, no? Dito sa description, yung link ng video. Kasi tinanong siya ni Senator Tatad yung stand niya nga doon sa Russia and Ukraine. Something like that. Kasi nakipagkaibigan nga naman ang Pilipinas sa Russia. So, ayun pa rin yung policy na sinasabi niya, no? Friend to all, enemy to none. And kung maaari nga raw na maaari siyang maging peacekeeper, no? Na maging parang magmi-middleman sa bawat bansang may sigalot, gagawin niya para lamang mapanatili yung diplomasya. So So napakaganda nung panukala na yon ng ating mahal na presidente na si Bongbong Marcos. 'Di ba mga utol? Pero kailangan ko niyo yung inyong komento, pa-comment na lang, tuloy na natin 'to. At hindi daw yung nagbabago, di ba?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, let's talk about oil. You had a bilateral meeting with China and Russia as well. Sorry, not Russia, but Saudi Arabia. But but did you manage to forge at least deals, at least in the initial stage, with regard to the possible cheaper oil supply for the Philippines? And when will the Saudi Crown Prince come to the Philippines? Will it be a state visit? Thanks, sir.
Well, the discussion actually was mostly about our labor force and the different hindi naman issues, but yung kanyang si MBS, what was his prediction on how the development will go forward in Saudi Arabia. And pinagbigyan nga tayo, I think you may have heard the announcement that yung mga there are 12,000 claimants. Yung mga claimant na yon ay nagke-claim nung kanilang sahod na hindi nabayaran nung pandemya dahil nalugi yung kanilang pinagtatrabahuhan na kumpanya. Wala silang makuha. But Saudi Arabia agreed, the government itself agreed to pay those claimants para naman meron silang. So that was that was one of the first things we spoke about. But then the Crown Prince, Prime Minister, went on to talk about the plans of Saudi Arabia to expand its economy. And I went back, sinabi ko nga, nung after the 1973 oil crisis, the building boom of Saudi Arabia was the one that instigated the new surge of OFWs. And he immediately stopped me and he said, that's not a building boom. The one that's coming is the building boom. That's nothing compared to what we're going to do. So we will need more workers. And so that's another opportunity for us. We talked about oil a little bit. We talked about petroleum products, primarily fertilizer, but also oil. And in terms of the oil supply. So kailangan pa natin lakarin ito. I reminded the Prime Minister, the Crown Prince, that in the 70s, ako yung pinapadala nung aking ama na para makipag-negotiate sa Saudi Arabia nung panahon ng oil minister nila si Sheikh Saki Yamani. Nakilala ko at I would travel with him para lang makakuha tayo ng concessions. So sa Saudi Arabia para sa Pilipinas. Sabi niya, well, we can discuss it again. So, babalikan natin lahat yun. So, there was not any, in terms of that, labor, may mga specifics talaga. Pero sa fuels, sa oil supply, we touched upon it, but we'll just have to pursue it further. Yung fertilizer, mukhang mas madali. Baka meron tayong makuha sa kanila.
And mga utol, nakarang parang bilateral meeting nila ng Crown Prince ng Saudi Arabia. So nailabas na rin natin yan. Check nyo na lang dito sa mga video 2 days ago, I guess. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali. Pero yun nga, yung unang-unang regalo na ayon mismo kay Pbbm, o kakasabi niya rin ulit dito, na yun nga, yung mismong Saudi government ang magbabayad doon sa mga claimants ng mga kumpanyang nagsara na nagtatrabaho. So more or less 10 to 12,000 na claimants na hindi nabayaran ng mga kumpanyang na bankrupt during pandemic. So, yung government ng Saudi ang magbabayad mismo doon sa mga claimants. So, yun yung masayang ibinalita ni President Bongbong Marcos. And etong kasunod niya sinabi ay ngayon ko lamang rin narinig. Buhat doon sa kanilang pinag-usapan. Okay, pero magandang balita yon para sa mga kababayan nating OFW dahil magkakaroon daw ng karagdagang pang mga trabaho ang Saudi. So mag-o-open talaga kasi gusto talaga nila yung mga Pinoy. At isa pa, parang malapit yung puso ng Crown Prince ng Saudi Arabia sa mga Filipino. Dahil kung hindi ako nagkakamali ay yung naging yaya niya yata ay isang Filipina. Okay, mga utol, tuloy na natin.
I'm sorry?
Yung his visit to the Philippines.
Well, sinabi ko sa kanya na kailangan niyang makabisita And he surprised us all. He says, yes, I have to, because my second mother comes from the Philippines. Meron siyang
Yan yun.
ganun. Ang opening nga niya, sabi niya, there is no Saudi Arabian who does not have a Filipino friend somewhere down the line. And I guess totoo yun dahil talagang we have been part, we have become part really of their society and workforce.
That's one.
Thank you.
Next is Romero from Philippine Star.
Philippine Star.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. The Chinese Foreign Ministry released a statement after your meeting with President Xi that the Philippines and China should reject acts of bullying in the region. What should be done to prevent bullying, especially in the South China Sea, and what to you constitutes acts of bullying?
Well, I suppose maybe the term bullying is not exactly accurate, but I would characterize it as something different. I would say that as part of our foreign policy, and this is something again that I spoke to our other partners with, is what we really should pursue is that we should make sure that we in the region are the ones who will decide the future of the region. Hindi tayo wag natin pabayaan na dinidiktahan tayo ng kahit sino.
Mautol malinaw yan. Kasi yung bilateral meeting nila ni President Xi Jinping ng China, 'di ba? May parang meron tayong sigalot somewhere in Spratly sa West Philippine Sea na parang inaagawan tayo ng di umano ng teritoryo ng China. So alam naman nating lahat 'yan. Pero yun, nag-usap na nga sila. Pero yung detalye ng pag-uusap nila na yun ng President ng China na si Xi Jinping ay hindi pa po inilalabas. Kahit sa hinanap ko yun ng hinanap, wala talaga kung anong detalye. So sooner pa natin malalaman. Pero ayon kay President Bongbong Marcos, malinaw na hindi tayo pwedeng diktahan ng sinuman kahit may pagkaibigan. Sinong may-ari ng region, siya yung magdidesisyon. Tapos, ganun lang kasimple, di ba? Pero magandang balita ito. Tsaka magandang balita rin na nag-usap na ang ating presidente at ang presidente ng China. Siyempre, magagawa nila na maayos na resolution kung ano man pwede nilang gawin dun sa bahagi ng West Philippine Sea na yun. Mga utol, so aabangan na lang natin yon, di ba? Okay, tuloy na natin.
Maybe that's what the Chinese were referring to, but that's essentially that has always been my formulation. That's why it begins with being able to engage with everyone from either side of any conflict.
Tama.
Still being able to engage on both sides, and that is so that we can determine. That's why these meetings, these summits are so important, because we can come to a common position, and it is how it should be. It is us in ASEAN, it is us in Asia who should decide. Australia kasama, because they could really consider themselves part of Asia. It should be us in Asia who decides the future of Asia. The Asia-Pacific region, the Indo-Pacific region. Dapat ang mga tiga doon ang magkukumpas kung saan ang takbo ng region na yan.
Okay mga utol, ititigil muna natin dyan. Sana'y meron tayong nalaman, ha? Napakarami nating nalaman tungkol sa tinakbo ng APEC Summit nitong nakaraan. Okay? So pero yung usapin nila, yung detalye ng usapin, ni President Bongbong Marcos at ang presidente ng China na si Xi Jinping ay hindi pa natin nalalaman ang detalye, so konti pa lang ang ating nalalaman, pero malamang nga magandang solusyon ito para do sa sigalot na nangyayari sa West Philippine Sea. Pero dati pa no, yung kay President Duterte pa nag-uusap na sila, dapat nga magjo-joint exploration na para do sa mga oil reserve na nandun sa bahagi na yon, sa Spratly at sa Reed Bank. Ngunit sa samaang palad hindi natuloy mga utol. Siguro naman baka this time posible nang matuloy. Anyway, yung maibalita ko lang mula sa mga report na aking nababasa, inimbitahan si President Bongbong Marcos sa Switzerland ngayong January 2023. So ano kaya ang magiging resulta nito, no? Buong mundo yung ang galing. No? Working president. Yun lang masasabi ko. Sa presidente natin ngayon, working president. Pero ano masasabi niyo mga utol? Pa-comment na lang. Lagay nyo na lang yung comment nyo at pag-usapan natin yan. Anyway, muli ako si Target Achilles. Follow me on Facebook and don't forget to like and follow. Hanggang doon lang muna mga utol. Pa-subscribe na rin. Hanggang doon lang muna. Kayo mag-iingat. Keep safe mga utol. God bless at saludo po ako sa inyo lahat. Maraming salamat po.